Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Bundesliga show, the Bundesliga fantasy show, checking in this, wet and dreary morning here in Sheffield. But I'm joined to brighten up my day by Rune. Rune, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Looking forward to the weekend. Especially, I think it will be interesting to see if Bayern will lose again under Tuchel or they will get a more positive result against Leipzig. It's certainly a big game on Saturday evening.
Yeah, I really struggled to call it last night when we were doing predictions. It should be a really great game. We'll get stuck into it. Of course, fantasy football is what we're here for. So good morning to everyone that's tuning in. Really appreciate it. Everyone who watches in the early hours, no matter where you are in the world. So morning Jay, morning Tim, morning Jeff. Thanks for tuning in, and everyone else who hasn't said but is watching. If you can, of course, give us a thumbs up on the video, on the show, that'd be muchly appreciated. Comment along, of course. Questions always welcome. I think there was a couple asked prior to the show going live on X, so we'll make sure we come to those and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, keep your eye out for all the different vlogs that Mark and Peter have been doing recently as well. Some great stuff as they went. Their third Nuremberg Kaiserslautern game very recently. Right then, Rune, we'll crack on then with defenders. We haven't not going to do the banners today, but you're going to talk us through your budget pick and so on. And yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, and that's Felix Agu. I think like last week. At the moment, he's just a best budget option at the back. Given his price and Werder's quite favorable fixtures. They at least have another one this week at home against Darmstadt. So that's a game you could target. He's coming off a 12-point return against Köln and is playing a quite attacking wing-back role at home against a team that's really struggling to score goals. Werder suffered an injury blow this week with Marco Friedl ruled out, so might not keep a clean sheet without him. We'll see, but at least they're playing a Darmstadt side who, as I said, not look very threatening up front. He's on sale too, but you only save a bit of money. My mid-price pick is Joshua Wagnermann from Stuttgart, who I think makes a lot of sense this week with Pascal Stenzel suspended. Now we actually know that Wagnermann will start at right back and probably also has a good chance of keeping that spot, especially if he performs well this week. And just like Werder, Stuttgart have a very good, attractive home fixture against FC Köln. They're obviously huge favorites. So Stuttgart is another team to target, not just because of their good fixture this week, but they generally have quite good schedule with a nice run of fixtures. And premium pick is Mitchell Weiser from Werder. Another Werder defender. Just thought I'd mention him because if you have the cash to afford him instead of Agu, he's definitely the Werder defender to go with this week. He scored double figures in his last 3 games, and most recently set up Werder's winner against Köln. So he's a very, very good option this week, I feel.
Yeah, very good. Some good picks in there, Rune, and quite nice and refreshing just to see, premium defenders and defender choices outside of the norm of, BVB and Bayern and Leverkusen. We've got Werder and Stuttgart in there, which I love. So that's great stuff. Thank you. Let's just see what questions we got in relation to defenders. One from Jay. Let's pop this up on the screen. It feels like there are more defenders than midfielders. Frimpong, Grimaldo, Mittelstadt, Weiser, Matson, Goossens, etc., with high ceilings this match day. Is this a match day to play for the back, Rune?
Could be. I don't know what I think. Frimpong, Grimaldo, and Weiser should be a really nice trio. But I also feel there are lots of good midfield options as per usual. So it's difficult. In a way, it's a bit of a coin toss actually, because Martin is a great option too, and Gosens is a nice differential as well. Mittelstedt is actually a doubt. So if you want to keep him, then it might be a good idea to go with 3 at the back, because then if he misses out, then you have another defender that you can sub in from the bench. But definitely worth considering. It's a bit difficult, I think, to say, but it's between 3-4-3 and 4-3-3.
Yeah, absolutely. Interested to see all the differences in price between Mittelstedt and Wagnerman, because I think what we put Wagnerman as mid-price, did we, Rune? So I think he and Mittelstedt can't be too great a difference price-wise, but either way around. Tim's put, what's your feeling about Mittelstedt? So by the sounds of it, Tim, he's a bit of a doubt for this game and maybe be rested. I suppose, Rune, they could put Hiroki Ito out to left back should they want to. Obviously, that's where he started the season, and move around centre backs a little bit. Obviously, Wagnerman at right back.
I think Rune said yesterday that Mittelstedt trained for the first time this week on Thursday because of a slight injury problem, and they will wait for today's training. So hopefully we'll get some training shots today if he's in full training today and can take full part in that. I think he should be fit to play. The problem is that Valdemar Anton is also a doubt with a back problem. So, I mean, that would limit their possibilities a bit if he's to be ruled out as well. But from how it looks now, they should both be fit to play, since they were both on the training pitch yesterday. But let's wait and see. Maybe we'll know a bit more later today.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay, I'll do my best to scout X all day for those training shots and retweet as soon as I see them where possibly can. One in from Jeff as well is, does Maatsen still belong in the defender discussion with all those other attractive options this match day? Well, I mean, obviously he played a very full part in obviously their Champions League fixture midweek, but he's obviously been a permanent fixture in the team, Rune, since he's come in. So what do we think about Maatsen still being in people's teams?
Yeah, definitely. Dortmund generally had a very disappointing game against Wolfsburg last week. I was actually quite surprised that they did manage to dominate that game more. Maybe they underestimated Wolfsburg a bit. They were like, they didn't live up to what I expected from them last week. But Maatsen has been great in all other games and plays a very big role for Dortmund, not just defensively, but also in terms of leading the ball forward and taking part in the attacking part of the game. At the same time, Hoffenheim are in a lot of trouble. Matarazzo is under heavy pressure. They're not playing well at the moment. So definitely, Maatsen could have another great match day this week.
Yep, very true. So no more live questions, and we'll come to the ones that were asked prior to the show after we've done some midfielders. So Rune, I'll hand back over to yourself to crack on with the budget pick.
Yeah, I struggled a bit to find a good budget pick this week, but I went with Merlin Røhl from Freiburg, who's now back from suspension, and I think he's one of the better options to go with if you're looking for like a really cheap option in midfield this week. Freiburg face an Augsburg team that is pretty depleted in defense. Gauwelev will miss out with an injury, and Pfeiffer is out too, so it looks like they will have to play Bauer at the back, and he hasn't played in a long while. So maybe Freiburg can take advantage of that situation. They also just got a pretty spirit-boosting win last night. Great comeback win. Another comeback from them after they also came back against Frankfurt last week. So, yeah, maybe a bit of feeling a bit of that Christian Streich magic there in terms of giving his team the right mentality to bounce back and always believe in themselves. But anyway, I think Rory is a player with great potential, and his price is very low. Alternatively, I also thought about Ngumu from Gladbach, who I just wanted to mention. From what I've read, Gladbach have been testing out a different formation this week. They have some absentees at the back, so it looks like they will play with 4 at the back and then play with Ngumu and Honorat as the wingers. At least he's been playing in the A team this week instead of Robin Hack Ngumu, so he could be given the chance against Bochum at home. So it's another possible differential. Mid-price pick is Enzo Milio from Stuttgart, who was rested and came off the bench last week, and obviously made a big difference after coming on. Had a shot that hit the post that led to Stuttgart's second goal against Darmstadt, and he's actually been promised a start this time, so we know he'll start. And I think he's a quite good alternative to Chris Führig, who has been a bit disappointing of late, especially fantasy-wise. He's not been up to his usual standards. And then finally, another mention for Vincenzo Grifo. Just because his ownership is quite low, and as I said, Augsburg have a lot of they have some problems at the back, a few players missing out. He scored last week, Grifo. Still only got 5 points actually from Freiburg's free draw with Eintracht. I was a bit frustrated about that he only managed to get that, but surely they will look to get him more involved this week. And he was also rested in the Europa League, just like last week. So should be fresh to attack Augsburg. And I think in a week where we don't know if Musiala and Simons will perform, it's a bit difficult to predict. Usually they do, but they're up against each other, and it's a big game. Maybe Grifo could make the difference instead of one of them if one of them doesn't perform.
Yeah, interesting thoughts there. And certainly, yeah, Grifo having a bit more time to rest other than his colleagues who obviously went all the way through extra time last evening, but what was a fantastic and morale boosting win, as Rune has alluded to. So let's come to some more questions. Good morning, Peter, checking in as well, saying strike for Bundestrainer. Jay has asked, which I think you've just kind of half alluded to there already, Rune. Is it worth holding on to both Musiala and Simons in the Bayern Leipzig game? Potentially feels that there could be goals for both sides. Definitely feels that there could and should be goals for both sides. Certainly defensively, Bayern look stripped of many options. It certainly opens up for the likes of Openda and co, which I'm sure we'll come to. But yeah, Rune, you've already half kind of touched upon it. Are you going to be keeping the faith with Musiala and Simons, or maybe shipping them out as a one-off?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to keep them because they've both been in great form too. At least Musiala had a great game last time out and produced very well. So if he can continue that way, then he should have a good chance of having another good game. We all know that they're both capable of making the difference for either side, and should be a high scoring affair. But with that said, I think it makes a lot of sense to have a few other premium options on the bench that could come in if one of them doesn't perform. You never know with Bayern at the moment, especially. And Musiala has also had games where he hasn't been up to the standards we usually see from him. But I would keep them both. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. With Bayern, I'm still interested to see what happens with Bayern. Because obviously, with the news being made official about Tuchel this week, I was just playing in my brain. Does that, clarity at least provide Bayern with not a morale boost, but maybe just some sort of, like I said, clarity moving forwards, but they're still at the same time, Tuchel's still there and still probably doing the same things. The problem
it's a pretty weird situation. also the fact that Tuchel knows that he will not be there after the summer. It's a bit of a weird situation for everyone involved, but true, it can take some pressure off them at least. But actually, I still think there is pressure in terms of if they don't get the result this week, then they're on 4 defeats in a row. Then the questions will be asked again, surely, about Tuchel and whether it makes sense at all to keep him until the summer. So a really weird situation. They really need a result.
They really, really do. Question in from Tim. Should I keep Grifo over Julian Brandt? Yeah, I've been disappointed with Brandt, to be honest, Rune, in the last few weeks as well. There have been some tasty fixtures for Dortmund to get stuck into, and by hook or by crook, well, my midfield in general hasn't performed fantasy-wise for the last few weeks. But yeah, are you thinking Grifo then?
I think that's a difficult one, actually, because I've been disappointed with Brandt too. He's not been playing his best football after he was ill for quite some time. Has a great fixture, but hasn't shown the form that warrants his high price at the moment. He costs 18 million, so that's a lot. But at the same time, Grifo has been inconsistent as well. So actually, I'm not real sure what to do there. Kind of want them both, but you can't have them all. Probably leaning towards Grifo at the moment of the two, just because I feel Brandt is not performing at his best level at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And one in from Saldnu. Hopefully we've covered Brandt for you. But what about Stoiger, Rune? The ever-present in Bochum's midfield, a real fantasy asset this season.
Yeah, Stoiger is always an amazing option. He was really disappointing on match day 20 against Augsburg at home. And then I sold him because they had 2 pretty difficult games after that. And then he just, absolutely hauled against Frankfurt and Bayern. But yeah, I'd say generally speaking, he's been Mr. Consistent for Bochum this season. So as I said, a lot of good options in midfield. It's actually hard to fit all the players you want in there. Ideally, you could maybe choose an 8-man in midfield, and then you would have all the guys you want. So, but Stoiger is an amazing option too.
Yeah, absolutely. Another live question as well from Saldnu is where are we? Right, okay. Defenders, about Niels and Kunku ready for starting 11 with 80 minutes played yesterday. Can he keep this up with the points that he had previously? At the moment, the way that Frankfurt are playing, to be honest, Rune, it's a hard sell for many of their players. They have so much talent in that squad, and it just really is not coming to the surface just yet. And they'll have to get over that disappointment going out of, ultimately the Europa Conference League, but still Europe very quickly.
Yeah, and also. As you wrote, he played a lot of minutes yesterday, so I'm not that sure he'll start actually. Philip Max has been playing a lot recently as well, and he was ill yesterday, so didn't play there. But I could see Max coming back into the starting lineup. At least it's not clear if Max or Nkunku will start that game. So I would go for someone else who is certain to start, like Mitchell Weiser or Robin Gosens, if you want a differential there in the same sort of price category.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's a question asked by one of our other regular viewers, Lawrence. This in from X or Twitter, and it was: I'm in need of reliable differentials this week. Is Grifo worth it? So hopefully, Lawrence, we've kind of covered that in a nutshell for you. The man on screen definitely looks like he could be worth a go this week. He was mostly rested in the Europa game. Freiburg did manage to fight back. I know Freiburg's Bundesliga form has been questionable, though. Lawrence, hopefully we've covered that in a nutshell for you in regards to Grifo. And therefore, we shall move on to our strikers, Rune. So please lead the way.
Yeah, Budget pick is Justin Njinmar from Werder Bremen, who surprisingly started on the bench against Köln last week. It was a decision based on the opponent. They needed someone more physical up front, so Nick Voldemade was given the nod ahead of Njinmar. But then eventually Njinmar, as so many times before this season, came on and scored the winner for Werder. So a really exciting player and likely to be back in the starting lineup this week against a struggling Darmstadt side. So I think at that price you can't really go wrong with him. The only real budget for what I'd consider at this stage. Mid-price pick is Amin Adli from Leverkusen, who has worked his way into the starting lineup at the expense of Jonas Hoffmann. Lately, he's in very good form. We can see if he starts against Mainz tonight. If he does, he certainly has great potential. His ownership is 1% at the moment. So a really good differential there. And I'm actually excited to see how Mainz will try to handle the game. The coach Bo Henriksen has said they'll try to show courage, which could indicate that they might not just sit back and let Leverkusen fully dominate the game, but will try to push forward and with some pressure and try to play that chance in a way instead of just sitting back and waiting for Leverkusen to score. But that could backfire as well, I think. So it will be an interesting game. Leverkusen will surely score and probably a few goals. So Adli looks like a good option for the price. And then finally, Serhou Guirassy from Stuttgart is my premium pick. I think if you didn't get him last week, if you're looking to replace the injured Undab up front, he's a pretty obvious replacement, although he's a bit more expensive, of course. Got back on the score sheet last week, leads the line for an informed Stuttgart side with a great game in front of them. So what's not to like?
Yes, what is not to like, but I don't like to say that with my boys either. But yeah, looking for five in a row in the Bundesliga would be magic. And that man up top, then we've got a great chance. So yeah, some good picks in there for this weekend. Quick question from Jay: whether to start Guirassy over Kane or even Füllkrug, considering his recent form. I'd be tempted. I don't often like to put that pressure on Stuttgart players, but very tempting to do that this weekend.
Yeah, yes, I'm tempted too, especially with Guirassy. It's just such a good game for Stuttgart at home. The fact that Undab is out is a blow for them, and also have a few other question marks, but still. I don't have a lot of faith in that Köln side, and at the same time I have a lot of faith in Stuttgart. So I think Guirassy is definitely worth considering as a star man up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff has asked or added that because Freiburg have been bleeding goals lately, which is absolutely true. Is Demirovic worth a go over someone like Füllkrug? Because Demirovic has very quietly had a fantastic season, really, and been so effective for Augsburg. So what are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, if you want to get an Augsburg player, Demirovic is the guy to get because he's so involved for them. They also have a quite good schedule, actually. They have Darmstadt next week. But Freiburg have had a few players coming back. The injury problems are starting to clear up. Ginter could start this week alongside Gulde in central defense, and obviously his return is a big boost for Freiburg. They've really struggled without him. And also Christian Günther is making a lot of progress fitness-wise, and should also soon be fit enough to start, maybe even this weekend. So they have some pretty big players coming back, and that's also been part of their issues. So I'd say if they have Ginter and Günther back in the back line this week, and they are fit enough to start, then it looks like a much more solid Freiburg side.
Yeah, very true. One in from Tim as well. What about Marlon? Obviously, we've just kind of touched upon Füllkrug and Dusk as well. Some informed players, basically. Rune Marlon, like we said, was really, really good midweek. Füllkrug continued well from a Bundesliga form point of view. Has been really strong up top for BVB and Dusk as well, really helping Werder to climb into European contention. So yeah, 3 really interesting options.
Yeah, definitely. All very good options. I think Dux has been a little disappointing of late, actually, and he's received some criticism from the Werder fans as well. Although his goal involvement this season is great, he doesn't always contribute with that much else. Then, of course, that's important too. But I think he's had a few quite disappointing games. So I think there are better options than Dux, even if the matchup is great on paper. Malen and Füllkrug are very good picks too at home against a really struggling Hoffenheim side. So yeah, basically up front we have the same problem as in midfield. We can only choose a limited amount of players, and there are actually several good players and great differentials this week too. Marmoush is also a player you can look at home against Wolfsburg. Has been in great form for Frankfurt, and just likes to take shot at goals, and has that nose for goals. So and against then a Wolfsburg side with a lot of problems too. So he's another good option. So yeah, follow your gut feeling. A lot of good picks.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, another tricky weekend to pick from, but hopefully, I say the Royal Hour, or Rune's expertise have helped everyone out in making those big decisions. But yeah, that's pretty much us then for this morning. So thank you as always to everyone that's tuned in with us whilst we've been live. Obviously, if you catch up with us during the day, also fantastic. But yeah, some really good and interesting picks out there this weekend. So all there is left to say is, if you can, again, leave a thumbs up on the video. Comment again subsequently if you've missed the live version of this show. That's not a problem. We'll try and intercept them before the Friday night game, and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, absolutely enjoy your weekends, everyone. Enjoy the footy, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Cheers all.